Welcome to the Janvier Community Panel Discussion. I'm Corporal Lacey Blair with the RCMP, and I will be your host along with...
My name is Ryan Adlam. I also work for the Wood Buffalo RCMP. I'm really happy to be here. It's good to see you, Nevaeh.
And we're here with Nevaeh, who goes to the school here, and she's going to be asking us a few questions today. So here we're here to talk about cops and to answer important questions that you guys sent in to us. But before we get started, we'd like to humbly acknowledge that the land on which we live, learn, work, and play is Treaty 8 territory, the traditional lands of the Cree, Dene, and unceded territory of the Métis. So in April, Wood Buffalo RCMP, along with the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo, partnered in creating the opportunity for rural residents to ask a cop a question. Hence why we're here today. So what does that mean? Well, it's important that police officers are focused on making relationships with residents even better by creating more chances to chat with you. This is very important to the RCMP and moving forward with our rural communities. In April, the Wood Buffalo announced this year's policing priorities, and one of our objectives is enhancing public confidence and engagement. In discussions like these with students like you guys, it supports our year's goals. Throughout the Ask a Cop question campaign, rural residents across the Wood Buffalo submitted questions online or in-person visits at numerous schools that we attended. Now we're here today to answer as many questions, so listen carefully and see if you can hear the question that you submitted. On top of getting your important questions, rural students in grades 7 and 8 were asked their friends and families to submit questions to in hopes of becoming a community influencer. I'd like to thank the dedicated students that participated and asked so many interesting policing questions. Ensuring we have dedicated residents that love their community benefits the entire community. Each rural area had a community influencer chosen to represent their community based on submitted questions and encouraging community members to submit a question. Congratulations to Nevaeh, who did a great job with us and now is representing Janvier as your community influencer. Everybody give Nevaeh a hand. Okay, so now let's get to the fun part. Nevaeh has a list of questions, and I'm excited to hear what you've submitted. So myself and Ryan, we will answer all the questions that she has for us. Go ahead, Nevaeh.
How long do you guys work at Janvier?
We work in Janvier, so we have police officers that are stationed down here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You might not always see us, but let me tell you, we are there. We're down here, as you know, down the street. We have our community detachment here, but also we police Conklin and Anzac as well. But members are always in the community.
What is it like being a cop?
What's it like being a cop? It's the best job I ever had. And you guys will all be surprised that I was a school teacher before I was a cop. In a school just like this. And guess what grade I taught? Grade 6. That's the grade you're in right now, isn't it? Yeah. Being a cop is a very interesting job because every single day something different happens. The days go by very, very fast. When you guys get full-time jobs and you start working, you will know the job that you love because the days go by fast as you work in it. And that's what it's like for me.
Did you ever get shot?
No, I have never been shot. That's a good question. It does happen. It can happen in our line of work. But fortunately, I have remained safe my entire career. I don't know if Adlam has anything to add to that.
Oh, thank God I've never been shot. That would be the worst possible day that you could have at work. So it's
What's your favorite thing about being a cop?
My favorite thing about being a cop is being able to engage with our community. I know that a lot of people probably have some negative opinions about us just because of what we do and day to day, but I love getting out there, especially in the schools, and engaging with the youth and the teachers and just showing them that being a police officer, it can be a lot of fun, and I love my job.
What's the training for becoming a cop?
different police services in this country have different types of training. The RCMP training we can specifically speak to because every RCMP officer goes through it. It's 6 months long. It's in Regina, Saskatchewan. You have to live on the training base. You eat there, you sleep there, you work every day from 6 in the morning till 6 at night. It's very intense. It's probably the most intense program I ever went through. And I will say it's probably the most fun I ever had in my
Yeah.
life, too.
I would agree.
It was a really... Do you get paid? You don't get tased at RCMP training, but later on, when you come out into the field, people that do taser training have the option to experience getting tased. And I have been tased. Your next question, Nevaeh?
Have you ever shot someone?
No, I haven't. Unfortunately, there are times when police officers do have to use their service pistol to engage with people to protect ourselves or the public. But fortunately for me, I have never had to use that on anybody.
And same here. That would be the worst day of my life if I had to actually use my firearm against another human. And, we're prepared to do that if somebody brings the safety of everyone into jeopardy, but it's not something that I've ever had to do. Thank God.
How many hours do you work a day?
Oh, that depends too, But generally, police officers generally work 10 hours a day. Some police officers work 12 hours a day. It just depends what job you have in the police force and how your workday is spread out.
Do you guys work in pairs?
Us in the RCMP, for the most part, we don't. We work in our vehicles by ourselves. Some of the units that we have, they will work with partners. I have partners that I work with, and so does Sergeant Adlam. In other police jurisdictions, you'll see that they will be paired up in a car. The only time that we're paired up or working with a pair is when a member is just newly graduated from training and they come here and they're being essentially taught by a more experienced police officer.
How long have you guys worked for?
I've personally worked for the RCMP for 16 years, and the longest day of work that I ever had was 32 hours straight.
I've been a member for almost 14 years. Not to one-up you there, but the longest day I've had was 36.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys use grenades?
That we do not. That's more of a military thing. We do not have any grenades in the RCMP that we use.
Well, we don't use the grenades that you're thinking of. If you're thinking of an actual gunpowder packed explosive grenade, no, we do not. No, the RCMP does not use C4. We have dealt with C4 in different occasions, and we call in the military disposal unit to manage anything with C4.
Do you like your job?
Oh, like I was saying before, I do like my job a lot. It's the best job I ever had. Lacey?
I love my job. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't have gone this far, 14 years in. So I do. I really enjoy coming to work every day.
No more questions.
You don't have any other questions? Take some time to think about it. We have some questions out there. Personally, I have not used smoke grenades, but I have watched police services use smoke grenades.
We'll go right here. Do we have assault rifles or shotguns in our vehicles? Yes, all of our vehicles are equipped with shotguns. And we do have the new carbines that we are being trained on. I'm not personally trained on that, but we do carry those with us on a day-to-day basis now. Have we ever pulled anybody over? Yeah, it's part of our duties to do that for a number of different reasons, traffic infractions, things like that. But yes, I've pulled a few cars over. Actually pulled one over on my way down here today.
I guess the funniest thing I ever found in a car on a pullover was a giant cardboard cutout of the character Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys. It turned out I pulled this lady over. It was a routine thing. And she had a life-size cardboard cutout of Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys. And it turned out it was his mother, it was the driver. And that was in Nova Scotia. I personally have not dealt with any bombs, but I have worked with the RCMP bomb detection unit, explosives disposal unit. I've worked with them in different occasions.
I've never come across a bomb. No.
Thankfully, thank God.
Yeah, thankfully.
Have I ever responded to a lockdown situation? I have not personally done that. I have extensive amount of training in dealing with lockdown situations, but never responded to that in real life.
Me neither. We actually manage that in the community policing. We go to the schools and assist them with their lockdown procedures, but I've never responded to one. No, thankfully.
No. Have we ever been into a shootout? That's the question. Personally, for me, I have not engaged in a shootout. Once again, we have extensive amount of training and preparation for dealing with such things, but thank God I've never been engaged in such a thing.
Me neither, thankfully. What was the scariest thing I've ever seen? Well, there's been a number. Okay. So, kind of a funny story. So, we had a moose that was hit on the highway one day, and my old detachment was working. It was the middle of the night, so it was dark. And as I was walking up with it, it was unfortunately deceased on the road. I could hear movement in the bushes, and I thought it was mom moose coming to with her calf, but it was only a cow, but it actually scared me so bad. I actually ran back into my car and I locked myself in my car because I didn't know what was in the bush, but it was just a cow. Yeah, that I'm not gonna lie, that actually scared me pretty good.
We work. That's part of joining the police service, and it does. It does. There's pros and cons to every job that you do. One of the things that you have to sacrifice joining the police service is working on those holidays. We try to trade off. One of us might work 1 year and the other might work the year after. That's not always possible, but that's what we do. Wow, this was a really good engagement. Really appreciate all the questions from you guys. I'd like to generally thank Father Parent School for having us in here. I want to give a special thanks to our lead host, Nevaeh. You did an excellent job today. Thanks for taking us through this. And I want to really thank my partner, Lacey Blair, for coming out here with me today as well. And you guys in general, the community that's here is very welcoming for somebody that's new to Janvier. I really appreciate you welcoming me here. Thank you very much. A special thanks goes to Mr. George and his support for this program. We really appreciate that. Building relationships with the community is important to us. It's vital to the work that we do. And we look forward to future ways to continue these types of conversations with residents. As well, anybody can stay up to date with these engagements by visiting rmwb.ca/RCMP. And for any policing questions or inquiries, please reach out to the non-emergency telephone number 780-788-4040.